Hey! Boop. Happy New Year! Yes. Again, as ranting does feel totally useless since it doesn't change anything. Uh, um, and now, um, um, actually, nice things have happened in my personal life. Uh, I I have no idea how long I can. I have the strength to do my ranting. But of course, 2018, I have to say something, since I don't know why, after following what's going on in the world for a couple of years, with reasonable intensity, I have a very bad feeling about 2018. It's an absolute miracle if the world economy does not come crumbling down. It's a figment of imagination. It's no attachment to reality whatsoever. As has been said before, the world is absolutely it's bursting with insane leaders. There are at least 3 places in the world where a big war can start, a possibility of a world war, a possibility of a nuclear war. I still think that they are unlikely. Oh, bloody hell. That does look bad. Oh, just a moment. Okay, this is going to be really dirty. Much better. So anyway, and most of the time, I mean, again, if you think of Erdogan or Berlusconi, who's trying to get back, or most of all, old loofah-faced tiny hands, what authoritarians, be, even if they are as stupid and missing link like as Donny Loofah-face, what they are always as people is cowards. They are total cowards. So and it does extend very far. So it pretty much depends on people around them. What happens most of the time. They're cowards to the end. So I still think that a big war. We of course unfortunately have wars all the time. 2018. What can one say? There's absolutely no need for all this crap. Again, the world, it's somehow they managed with 2 world wars. They managed to stop the progress of mankind, or reverse it, and then then it's been like this, and now we're somewhere. It's been like like a what a graph is it? In an old hospital. Beep, 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 beep. Now we're somewhere. If it's a medical chart, we would be dead soon. Probably will be. It's ridiculous, and I know the insanity as I'm saying these things. We should not have a world anymore where there are employees and employers, investment, giant multinational corporations. It's all a system that should have been dead, something like 60 years ago at least. The whole Western way of living, and now global way of living, and the inequality, unbelievable inequality that it brings, and somehow 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and now the neoliberals have put it into hyperdrive. It's complete insanity, and again, this comes from someone who's, with whom everything is fine. And I'm the one saying, who can clearly say that the way that the world is at the moment, it shouldn't be. It's totally useless, and it's going to end up in our... well, anyway, 2018... So, still nothing has been done about global warming, and I don't know exactly what the official term for domino effect is, but that's what is happening, and is going to keep on happening. And the temperature goes up, and then it results in next thing that increases the warming, and already I can tell you here in southern Finland, the winter is almost non-existent. It's certainly very different from what it has ever been, and again, weather phenomenon all around the world. It's been interesting, and I would be really surprised if next summer wouldn't be the most interesting ever. We'll see. And then again, individual lunatics and lunatic governments. You really, again, the world, it has a problem because again, there's a system that should not be, and it's pretty much kept on going with entertainment, and people just. They have to be entertained one way or another so that they don't stop and think and perhaps actually start using whatever is left of democracy. And, it means that entertainment, whatever it is, it has to, pump up the level all the time. And when it comes to news media and politics, it has quite simply, it's like anything. It's like like the couple in Bitter Moon. They had to they had to evolve their sex life into more and more interesting things until nothing worked anymore. It's like like a bad Hollywood series. Originally lightsabering was cool in the only true and original Star Wars trilogy. Then when Lucas made his awful prequel trilogy, suddenly the Jedis were doing tricks that when you're gonna do the next trilogy, you have to do better, and next movie has to be even tougher, and so on. And although it's all unwatchable crap, I've seen scenes, and the scene, I think it was Rogue One, where suddenly, I don't know, how how can you describe the Darth Vader performance in there? You know, it's led to that. And what are they going to do next? So it's the same thing. You have to top the previous performance every time. So it's gotten more and more insane, and suddenly you have actually Theresa May is a raving lunatic, but you know, she's still nothing, you know, compared to Geert Wilders or Marine Le Pen or old Lufaface as the absolute epiphany of you know, a mental patient as the commander-in-chief of the most biggest and dangerous army that our reality has ever seen. You know, it's it seems insane, but it is actually a logical result of you know, of the things that have been going on. And again, as far as incompetence, insanity, and I mean, again, there is not a law that Donny Lufaface Tiny Hands has not broken. He's broken, you know, so many criminal laws that it's scary. Constitution, of course. Emoluments clause, no question. Good manners, without a question. It's very hard to top that. It really is. And it's the same thing with many other leaders. I mean, there isn't anything to come afterwards. I mean, you know, again, we're hoping that the system is going to collapse. We're hoping for Corbyn and Sanders, and hopefully we get more. But you know, it cannot get any crazier than it is now. And again, 2018, it's a very sad place for mankind to be. And again, does one need to point out the suffering in the third world and you know, Middle East, Africa, South America, and then of course swathes of Russians or United Statians, and now, you know, even in Finland, part of the population, I mean, and again in the United States it's a record number of people living in total squalor, absolute utter poverty, you know, and then you have a police state here and there, and loads of criminal acts by officials. You have torture here and rape there, and murder and killing and useless war here, and it's all totally useless. I have to try and see if I had was there something I am... Oh, yes. I don't know exactly how to comment on this, but this strange, I don't know, it's an alternate reality on top of alternate reality, where in many parts, at least of the Western world, you start to have people who hate taxes, and I understand that it's actually a thing, a complete thing again. For example, in the US of A, that everybody hates paying taxes. Well, we shouldn't have anymore the system we have, but as long as we do, I mean, taxes are pretty much the best thing we have. It's, of course you have to see where the taxes are used. I mean, they shouldn't be used to feed an military industrial complex, for example. But still, it's a strange idea. Taxes, they are the division of wealth from the top. Taxes are Robin Hood, so to speak, or should be. Of course, they've been completely perverted, but mainly because ordinary people have negative feelings about them. And it is so strange. It is so strange because pretty much anything that our present societies have actually achieved is because of taxation. It's a really short-sighted and uneducated feeling to hate taxes. And I just had to say, I don't understand it. It simply means that vast majority of the West, at least of the Western world, does not at all understand how the world was working before the golden age of neoliberalism and piling everything to the top, including tax cuts. Again, it doesn't breed any confidence, does it? And again, since everything is pretty crazy and makes no sense. For example, when we talk about wars, when we talk about uprisings, it would seem that the one in Iran is kosher. Actually, most of them never are. Again, Venezuela was totally manufactured by outside agencies. But in Iran, it would seem to be the uprising are genuine, one with a history and so on. If countries are, if authoritarian countries are left to their own devices, the people will one day have enough. Then that's it. Economic sanctions don't work crap. They're totally useless and result in ordinary people suffering even more. The whole idea of North Korea and what should be done about it and what's it all about, it's totally manufactured and crap. And again, poor North Koreans, they must be suffering most awfully. But again, none of these things make any sense. Putting pressure from outside and economic sanctions and ideas of evil regimes and how they need to be changed and how some bad regimes are, we need them so we cooperate with them, and some others need to be destroyed. It makes absolutely no sense at all. It isn't logical even if you were high. And And again, nothing really nothing much is happening. I was absolutely shocked, and this is the last thing I rant about 2018. But by the now I think it's iPhone 10. I've never had anything to do with Apple. Nothing. I mean the firm, of course. Apple the fruit. Yeah, sure. Again, if the world were populated by Kujalas, what an awful idea. Apple would simply not exist. Neither would Microsoft, actually. No. But, I've never bought one thing from Apple. I have nothing to do with them. But I follow. And this I think it's iPhone 10. And then what's the previous one? Is it not iPhone 9? I guess iPhone 8 or something. I think iPhone 8 was, the other title that was hovering, and of course, Apple slowing down their products, and the stories of people, journalists who say that their life was in that iPhone 8. They had everything there, and they were on a trip, and when the phone started slowing down, they just had to buy iPhone 10 so that they could work. That people who actually should know something, freelance journalists, those people who should actually be making the world a more civilized place and informing people and know something, that these people are using bloody iPhones and keeping their lives in there. The whole idea that people are logged in all the time, and then it is possible to complain that you are being followed and somebody is collecting information, and who knows what is going to happen. Why the heck are you logged in somewhere all day? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But again, to carry your whole life in that bloody iPhone, that you're a journalist who doesn't know what a notepad and a pencil is or are, and anything, a laptop, something, a book, a printout of notes, anything. I mean, one just simply loses all hope when the people who should be making other people smarter, real true journalists, not hacks, but real journalists and teachers, if they carry their lives in iPhones and they have to buy a new one where the previous one is slowed down, what the heck sort of a chance does mankind have? Alright, I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say. I don't. I think, again, the old cliche. I have a very bad feeling about this, meaning the year 2018. And really nothing is at the moment. Well, perhaps Labour making some advances in Great Britain, but otherwise, really nothing all that positive is happening, and more importantly, nothing is happening fast enough. And again, a huge, big change and smartening up of mankind is nowhere in sight. Ecological disaster. You know, nothing nearly enough is being done, and yeah, Noam Chomsky and every other really smart person, they're right. We do have a serious nuclear threat. So, well, I cannot wait to be proven totally wrong on everything, and I'm hoping the best with everything, but it doesn't really look all that bright. And I don't know. My again, my own life is and I've all the time I have been prepared of all the bad things that have happened to the world. Somehow, if it doesn't, it doesn't affect one so much when you're prepared for it. So I am doing. I know I am doing much better than everyone else is, or hardly anyone else is. And again, I don't know. My speed is slowing down. This is I'm talking too slowly right at this very moment, and it's I feel stupid pointing out the same things over and over and over again, and nothing really happening in the world. Man, still very little changing. I don't know. Well, at least when something big happens or something really unfair, then I probably will be again throwing my 2 cents, what's the phrase, into the abyss. But otherwise, to any creature who may see this in whatever existence there is in the universe, all the best.